I realized the other day that I have a stack of serialized comics that I've never really spoken about. I haven't collected comics for decades now, and the majority of them I gave away years and years ago. Most of what I kept, I have like a single box, is my old Joe Madureira, like Uncanny X-Men run, variant covers by him, like Crimson and Danger Girl and Steampunk, other various things. There was one by DV8, for DV8. I think that was another Umberto Ramos book, maybe. Yeah, like covers for other magazine, like PlayStation Magazine and Wizard and some other things. There's some cool posters. He did a Superman poster in Wizard ages ago. And then some other various things, like some Wizard 1/2 books that I was really fond of. There's a Mike Waringo X-Men 1/2. So I've got some stuff like that in a box. But I have a few of these serials that I've collected since, I want to say, like 2009 or so. And it's not much. It's that much. So like just a handful compared to like most comic collectors collect. I personally collect trade paperbacks, something that makes it easier to read, and easier to pull off a shelf and just immediately read instead of being stuck in these damn bags, which are like, it's such a barrier if they're taped, especially to go through and read like a 5-issue miniseries and have to go through the work of unbagging them and protecting them and all this crap. It's just, personally, I like it more to read a bound book. Anyway, so I thought I'd go through some of the books that I have. Well, all of them really, because there aren't many. So kicking it off here, we have Battle Chasers number 10. Now, Battle Chasers was Joe Madureira's creator-owned series that he started 1999 or 2000. I remember vividly, like, pre-ordering there was the prelude, not even the prelude, it was like the sketchbook came free in Wizard, maybe. And then there was a prelude, and there was also a short story that he did in Frank Frazetta's Fantasy Illustrated, which I actually showed in a previous video recently. But I have all of that stuff. That's in a box in storage. But he ran to issue 9, and by the end, it was taking multiple months for each issue to release, and it was really frustrating. I remember going to my comic shop and being like, "Hey," like every week I'd be like, "Hey, is it out? Is it out? Is number 10 out yet?" And then eventually it just never came out. So this finally came out. Joe Mad did covers, and he wrote it, and actually the writing is excellent, which is really nice for like someone who's known predominantly for his art. But he has Lullabi doing pencils, and I don't know if he could have picked a better artist for that. I don't know how I'm going to deal with the glare here. The only other person I could think of, like, this isn't the most Joe Mad looking art. There's a guy named Mike Bowden who is probably the best at imitating Joe Mad art, to the degree that I was reading a book recently. I think it was a Chris Bachalo Batman Black and White or something, and it had a cover, and I was sure it was Joe Mad until I saw the signature that it was Mike Bowden. So like he's gotten to the point where it's very, very close. But I just love Lullabi's art. So I think it's a great fit. So they came back. I don't remember. It was like 20 or 25 years between, maybe 20 years. I made a YouTube post about it when issue 10 was finally available for pre-order. So 20-ish years between, or maybe it was 20 years since the first issue, but it's been like a long time since issue 9 and issue 10. So it was a super long wait. He did the Battle Chasers JRPG video game in the meantime. He's been doing like all that video game work. He's done like Marvel stuff, Marvel comic work. But yeah, so we finally got this. And then just within a few months, we got issues 11 and 12 as well. And that was just like super exciting. And he has said that he does plan to continue this, and he plans to, I think, continue working with Ludo Lullabi. He said he'd ideally like to do the art himself, but it's just like unmanageable, especially because he realizes that he has like trouble sticking to deadlines or like a consistent workflow. So I'm really happy with that. I really loved it. I thought the story was awesome. I thought the art's amazing. And so he mentioned that he and Ludo are going to be releasing a number of kind of like story arcs, about 3 issues long again, every now and then. So I don't know if that's like once every couple of years maybe, or we got the covers here. Oh, Andrew Cockroach. I showed some of his art books. Chris Barassa? Is this the guy who did the Darkest Dungeon art? Like very Mike Mignola-esque. So yeah, so I specifically wanted to get the Joe Mad covers too. But this one in particular, I was like, I don't know. It kind of doesn't feel like, if it didn't have the signature, I would not have known this was Joe Mad. It just does not look like his style. As opposed to if we come to issue 12, that's very, very Joe Mad. So yeah, I don't have to go through like every issue of everything I have here, but Joe Mad is very special to me. He was basically the artist that inspired me to go to art school and to be interested in art and to be interested in comics for the art. So like I collected comics because my older brother did growing up, but I just basically collected what he did. He was into Star Trek comics, and Elf Quest was one he really liked. So I didn't really have like a niche or like an interest or like any particular titles or creators that interested me. But as soon as I saw Joe Madureira art, I was like, it was Uncanny X-Men number 346, I think. And it just blew me away. So that's all the Joe Mad I have kind of sitting upstairs outside of storage. Everything else is much older. Yeah. Next, I've got Chrononauts. This is volume 2. So this came after the Batman White Knight artist. What's his name? Sean Murphy. So this is the second series after Sean Murphy, written by Mark Millar. This is by Eric Canete. And he announced he was doing this. And I don't usually collect serials, but if I love the artist and I'm not sure if there's ever going to be like a collection, like a trade paperback, then I jump on it. So I got a subscription, or not a subscription, but I like asked for all of these issues from my local comic shop at the time. And they pulled them for me, I think with the specific covers that I asked for. Although I feel like one of the covers was by Travis Charest, who I really like, and I don't seem to have that one, so I don't know what happened there. Eric Canete, I really love, and I think this is a great example of his work. I think more so than his more recent work, Arc Athena. The colors are excellent too. And kind of anything, honestly, written by Mark Millar, I'm really into now. I'm not usually into the writing. I collect, Giovanna Nero. We were talking about her earlier in a previous video. What was I saying? I don't usually collect for the writing, but I've kind of started collecting all of the Miller World stuff, at least the stuff by artists that interest me. But I'm discovering a lot of new artists too. I just the other day I had like I don't know if you have this in the States, but in Canada we have our main kind of bookstore is called Indigo, and I had a gift card that I had to use. Or I didn't have to use it, but I mean I was trying to figure out what to use with it, or what to buy with it, and I don't remember what prompted me to look up Mark Millar books, but I discovered 2 vampire books. One called You know what? I don't actually... what was it called? The Vatican City or something? Oh, actually, maybe I can look here. I wanted to get Reborn. That looked really good. That's by Greg Capullo. Is that how you say his name? He did Spawn and Batman stuff. And then what was the other one? So not that one. It was... Yeah, they're not here. Anyway, there are 2 vampire books by him that I got by 2 different artists that I'm not familiar with, but look really good. So those are trade paperbacks. I'll have those in the next collection video with that. That won't be for a while. Yeah, I don't have to show everything on the inside, but here's volume 3. I don't know who the cover artist is for these, actually. What is that name? I'm not sure. Not familiar. I'm not super fond of the cover artists, except that first issue was obviously by Canete. And here is... Oh, and actually, because this one was released as a trade paperback after the fact, I do have that also. This one's actually a bit thicker. So this is it was a four issue miniseries that was collected in trade paperback form. So I've got that as well, and I guess I had that in the collection video, I'm sure. Next, I've got, let's see, I've got just two books by Adam Hughes. I love Adam Hughes, but he's one of those artists that does mostly cover work, and it's rare to get interiors from him. And I'm not, I'm a big Mike Mignola fan, so I'm not sure how I feel about an artist whose style isn't very Mignola-esque doing Hellboy stuff. I'm not usually into that. But otherwise, I really love Adam Hughes' work. Pretty sure he did his own colors because he usually does, I think, for the limited interior stuff he's been doing the past decade or so. And this isn't even the full issue, I don't think, or is it maybe? But man, he's so good. Yeah, I'm not sure if I like the fit with Hellboy. Other interior stuff I have of his is there's that Betty and Veronica book. There was the After Watchmen book. Yeah, really good stuff. So there's that. I think I knew that was coming probably from Adam's Instagram or something. So I'm pretty sure I pre-ordered that. I think I pre-ordered most of these. This one as well. So this is a pretty chunky issue, double sized or something maybe. But it's not all Hughes. Oh, that's nice. Who did that? Phil Noto, looks like. That's a really nice portrait. Where's the Adam Hughes? Here we go. So it's just a short story in this single issue. You can tell the difference immediately from whoever this artist is to the Hughes. He just kind of he's really good at doing silly stuff too. I guess hence the Betty and Veronica. He's one of those artists that's just everything he does is flawless. Even his unfinished sketches and stuff. It's crazy. Usually I don't get books, especially trade paperbacks because they're so much bigger. Usually I don't get things unless the majority of the work is by an artist, but Hughes does so little interior work recently, as far as I know, that I had to jump on that one. Here is a Sam Hiti book. I think this is a prelude to his Tiempos Finales End Times book, which was a series that he only released 1 volume out of. He told me personally it was going to be I think 11 volume book, but like I mentioned in a previous video, he dropped out of the comic scene for whatever reason. So who knows if we'll ever get more. And I don't remember where I got this one. I may have picked this up from like his booth at a convention or something, because I can't think of where else I would have known that it existed. And looking at this, I'm not actually, this must be much older work, because this isn't really what his, the majority of his kind of mainstream stuff looks like. But I remember the story being really good. I really like the story of Tiempos. Sorry if I'm butchering that. I don't speak Spanish. All right, so that was it for Sam Hiti. Actually, I've got 2 books here from Paul Pope. I think I must have got this also from, maybe he had a booth or something. Although I don't see his signature, so I'm not sure. What is this? The Invincible Haggard West final issue. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't have the collection of this, so I haven't read this in a long time, so I don't remember what the story is. But I kind of miss books by him. I don't know if he's been doing much recently. He's not an artist that I've really been actively following. I don't know if I even follow his Instagram, if he has one. But it kind of looks like, art-wise, his usual stuff. I assume he wrote this also. Yeah, I assume so. Then, what is this one? Oh, he did sign this one. What is this? Cool cover. I like that matte black. It's really nice. Yeah, what is this book? THB Comics from Mars, number 2, volume 1. So I have a couple of these random books that are kind of like out of order from larger series of his. Such a unique style. I was talking in a previous video about how he worked in marketing before, but he also, I think it was explained in his art book, but it's been a long time since I read it, so I'm not 100% sure this is how it went. But he lived in Japan for a time, and he was really interested in how Japanese manga and European comics and North American comics all had like really unique styles. And if I remember correctly, he kind of actively sought to develop his own style that was sort of like an amalgamation of all of that, to be like a homogeneous, is that the right word? To kind of be like a universal visual language maybe, or something like that. Okay, here's an artist I really like. And as I'm looking at the stack here, so this is Afu Chan. I've talked about him before. I've got an art book by him, a couple trade paperbacks. He did a book called, shoot, I forget. It's like a space sci-fi adventure, but it has like magic and stuff. It's really good. Yeah, I can't remember offhand what it's called, but I showed it in previous videos. And yeah, he worked on Spira. There's like a comic anthology thing called Spira, I think it was called. He did a lot of character designs for that and some short stories, but he didn't do like a big body of work for that, as like sequentials for that, I don't think. So I never collected that, but I worked in a school library at the time, and I got to read those books. Oh, cool! I got them sent. Is that the writer and the art and Afu Chan maybe? Or maybe I don't. Oh yeah, Josh Tierney, I guess so. I guess he was sitting at the booth, and I probably felt like, oh, it'd be rude not to ask them all to sign, but I don't really care about Afu Chan's signature. So here's it's a 4-issue. Is it 4 issues? Yeah, 1 of 4. It's a 4-issue miniseries. Look at those colors. It's fucking amazing. I think he does all the color and everything himself. Really unique style. I love how like kind of crisp and graphic it is. he's like really good at like dynamic perspective and composition and poses and everything. This is one where I really wish there was a trade paperback, but as far as I know, there isn't. And for some reason, I must have like seen him at a booth and got these. But I only have 3 of 4 volumes, I'm just realizing. Unless I misplaced the 4th. Yeah, so I've got to get my hands on that 4th volume now, actually. I'll have to make a note of that. We don't have to go through the whole thing. But like those muted, like really nice kind of atmospheric colors, just so good. It's crazy how good like maybe it's obvious, but how much of an effect the color can have on something like this. Here's issue 3. I need more books from him. He's just incredible. So good. Conversely, I've got looks like, is this the first 2 issues of Karl Kerschl's Isola? Yeah, I think 1 and 2. I've got it signed here by him. I must have picked this up at his booth, and again, yeah, so Halogen, as far as I know, wasn't collected as a trade paperback. So I grabbed those, except for the 4th, obviously. But for this one, I grabbed the first 2 issues because I saw them at his booth at a convention. But then this one was collected. I think I have the first 2 volumes, if I recall. And I quite like his style. But I recently was reading... Oh yeah, I got a Mark Miller book called Ambassadors, and it's by a few different artists, but they're all really, really good. And I really like Karl Kerschl's style, but like compared to the other artists that were selected for that, I think it was who was it? It was some really, really top-notch names. His work, it seemed a bit rushed, like not quite as detailed as, I think this is his creator-owned. What is it? Isola, yeah. So I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, maybe it was just a matter of deadlines, or maybe just compared to those other artists, in my like personal taste, I didn't feel like it fit as much. Yeah, I don't need to go through all of this because we're getting long. I had to cut there because I had to reply to some texts. So that's good. I only have the first 2 issues. I might have like a preview somewhere. I think that's actually with my sketchbooks. I probably included that in my collection video at some point. Yeah. And then, okay, so that's it for Karl Kerschl. I've got actually quite a few books by Ashley Wood, which I know is like the most popular artist on my channel, so people will probably be interested in this. On his Instagram, he was posting that he was doing a Batman story, and I was like, wow, that sounds amazing. Of course, it's just like this super short thing in the back of this chunky issue. Must be like a 60-page or something. It's just black and white. It's excellent, but it's just like, I think it's 6 pages or something. So good. So this one I pre-ordered at the local comic shop also. Yeah, 6 pages. Really good stuff. I wish he would do more comic art, especially in like his like more modern style. But speaking of which, I stumbled on, this was a long time ago, but I stumbled on his automatic Kafka issues, and I've got like most of them. I thought I got these abroad, like I was just visiting another city and in a comic shop and I saw them, but the price tag here indicates it's actually a local shop here, like the local shop. So I guess I paid $8 each, which isn't too bad for like Ashley Wood stuff. These are, I wouldn't be surprised if these are worth quite a bit. But I don't actually, because I collect mostly collections and not the serials. The serials are the ones that are worth a lot of money. Because I don't typically collect them, I'm not in tune with what things are worth. All I know, it's so weird to see like ads in a comic. I guess I don't read many serialized comics, like I said, but also I feel like comics these days have a lot fewer ads and fewer like blatant kind of like 90s or at least 2000s ads. I forget what I was saying. So I remember trying to read this, and I'm pretty sure most of the narratives he writes are like really nonsensical, like Popbot and even World War Robot. I mean that one was a little straightforward, but weird stuff. Yeah, so I've got a bunch of these, but yeah, this is his like older, I guess between now and probably Spawn, between those kind of eras of his. Similar kind of cover art style to what he was doing on Spawn, and this one at least. So that's 3. Got number 4 here. It's a little more graphic. Number 5. It was crazy when I found these. Like I don't even know I found them. I was going through, when I go to a comic shop or a bookstore with a comic section, I like to just like, like go through every single thing, because it's hard to find, like discover new artists is a lot of the reasons I do that, or find stuff by artists that I don't have that I want. So I don't remember even how I came across this. Maybe one of them was kind of on display, or yeah, I don't know. Crazy that no one else picked them up. But then we jump from issue 5 to number 9, so I don't have the whole thing, and I guess that's the last that I have. I should probably read that. I feel like he's posted on his Instagram before, not too long ago, saying that he'd like to collect or like publish some of his older comics, like Automatic Kafka, or what's that one with the French title, Les Morts, I'm gonna butcher this because I don't speak French either. Les Morts 13, however you say that in French. So that was Ashley Wood. Pretty happy that I have those. I should, like I said, I should go back and read those. Maybe, I don't know if I can find the missing issues. That'd probably be really hard. Maybe read them online or something. This is interesting. So this is the last stuff I've got here. A few of these. This is a series called 76. And it's by an artist named Ed Tadem. And this is really interesting because I was kind of like online friends with Ed Tadem way back in like 2000, in like the late 90s, I want to say. And like every 5 years or so, I remember that I have these, and I like check in with him, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? Do you remember me? And he's like, hey, it's so good to hear from you. And I was just like such a nice guy. So I always thought this was his creator-owned series, but I guess it's more by the writer and these other guys. I think he's just the illustrator on it, and he's really good. He's got like this really, I don't know how to describe his style, but it's like really and I don't think this is the greatest example. I think if you just look at his like single illustrations, it really shows his unique style in a better light. But he's got like this really kind of angular and really, I'm not sure how to describe it, angular but like with really solid kind of anatomical construction. This is a different artist. And I couldn't remember what else he worked on, so I checked out his website. And he's primarily a storyboard artist. He works for like DreamWorks, and that's not him. So it's this first stuff that's his. Really, really nice, like dark, blocked in shadows and stuff. I really like that. I don't know if he even, this was like back in the day again, like when I was talking about Brian O'Malley and Corey Lewis, when artists, like the artists that I was kind of in tune with, like part of a like online forums and communities with. They just had like their own websites with like file dumps of all their art. And I probably still have Ed's old art saved. And I kind of feel like that's a better representation of his style than these sequentials. Well, they are really nice too. I really like this. I think, was he friends with Ellen too? I can't remember. Maybe they just have like a kind of similar style. Ellen too is really cool. I don't know if he's done any comic work, but he would do like, again, same kind of thing. He has a website and he just kind of had an art dump. And I loved his work. He was friends with the artist on Invincible. What's his name? I forget. But the one artist who did like the majority of Invincible. And they would do like draw nights together and stuff. But only recently I found out that Ellen too, so we're kind of getting distracted from Ed Tadem because I don't know too much about his body of work, and I'm not too familiar with how storyboarding works because I'm more into comic art. But Ellen too, I learned that he was the game director for the Hogwarts Legacy Harry Potter video game. And like whatever your stance is on Harry Potter, for like all sorts of reasons, it was, I really liked the game, and I think it grossed like over $1 billion, which is crazy for like I'm not too familiar with what he was doing outside of like these just random sketches he put online, but I think it was his first, as far as I know, his first directed game, and to be that massive, and I think they're doing a follow-up game too, so that's super cool. The other example of that was Hyung Tae Kim, who's an artist. He does like video game concept art and stuff, and he made like some kind of smaller indie games like Magna Carta or something like that. But I have some art books of his, and I always really liked his style. And then I randomly found out that he was the director for Stellar Blade, that really popular kind of Souls-like sci-fi video game that came out not too long ago. Anyway, yeah, so that was the serials that I have kind of just hanging around. I'll probably go grab the ones I have in storage at some time and maybe do a video of those at some point. Predominantly Joe Mad, I think. I can't really remember too much of what else is in there. I think some Ed McGuinness Superman, actually. What else would be there? Maybe some original Cliffhanger stuff like I said, Crimson Danger Girl and Steampunk. And then they have some Wizard magazines that had some stuff that I was really into. But yeah, I thought it'd be fun to go through these. Hope you enjoyed that, and yeah, maybe I'll do another video on some serial comics in the near future.